Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. Yes, I think this is the first review of the new year. I think, is it?
I think so.
Okay, well, yeah. We haven't done anything since the Anime Talk Awards. Right. I don't think. I'm pretty sure. We had one review. You're right. Yeah. We did. No, Christian, no. Anime Talk Awards came out the same day as that One Piece review. So.
Oh, that's what
happened.
Yep. Okay.
So this is the first one of the new year, but we do have the My Hero Discord discussion. But welcome in to another One Piece manga review. This week we're reviewing chapter 1037 of One Piece. Hold on, let me get you the title. Drunken Dragon Bagua. And we're going to talk about that for sure. My name is Lyndon Burton. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Christian Hollinger. Christian, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to be here. We got a lot to discuss, and I know some people are like, yo, y'all should make shorter videos. Sometimes we try with our reviews, but I'm letting y'all know now, this is a long one because we're on break, so we're going to talk about whatever we want, but we're definitely going to talk about the chapter. But before we get to the chapter, bro, did you see that Yamato? The One Piece anime just gave Yamato a random dude just to murk real quick, like Luffy hitting a celestial dragon. I was like, why did y'all put y'all money into that when March 20 something is the date for chapter 1000? I mean, for chapter 1000 being the episode. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you the exact date because I saw it the other day. What'd you think of that of the anime right now?
I mean, look, I've been praising the anime, but I think that
was too much.
I mean, it was a lot, but I think that was a subtle reminder, like, hey, we haven't been pushing the Yamato for Nakama in a while, so let's just highlight, like, hey, pay attention. So I think that's what it is. I mean,
that's a good point. So you think that was like hey, Yamato, y'all about to be part of the crew, so here you go. Here's some Yamato love.
Who else in Wano is getting that kind of treatment? Like,
it's not Carrot. I'm so happy
that is not getting it either. I mean, they have moments, but I mean, like,
they're gonna have it in a bit.
No. We know when they're gonna get it, but I'm just saying, like, for the time being where the anime is at, they're saying, look, relevant characters, y'all are getting major screen time, major animation. So I think that's what it is. It's just saying Yamato's hyper relevant right
now. No, you're right, and that's a good point. I'm trying to see. They said here we go. One Piece chapter 1000 will be adapted with episode 1015, which airs on March 20th, 2022. So y'all can already expect on March 20th, the day after, me and Christian are giving y'all a review of the episode. Is gonna break the internet. That's gonna be the shanks behind everything. Yo, they're about to kill that. I am so excited to see what the anime does with that.
This is the thing. So on Twitter, while we've been on break week, this was actually pretty interesting. I didn't actually participate in this, but there was a trend where it was like, tweet about Marineford like it's being aired, or you're reading it weekly.
I didn't see that.
A lot of people were doing that just to kind of like entertain themselves. Now,
yeah, because we didn't have nothing.
Yeah. Now, of course, that's to take certain jabs at the way that certain people power scale and read things at value. So people would be like, oh, Ace is, Admiral level because, Pheasant Beak, Aokiji's Pheasant Beak was matched by one of his flame attacks. And in reality, we know that Akainu, would destroy Ace. So by extension, if Akainu and Aokiji could clash for 10 days straight, and, it's like, okay, well, Aokiji wasn't really trying to kill Ace the way that Akainu was trying to kill Ace. What we know now.
Yeah,
so it was jabbing, at that kind of humor. But and
you had fun.
Hey.
That's awesome. Well, now, so before we get to this chapter, I saw a theory on TikTok I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
It was talking about Blackbeard being a Logia. And the theory was that Blackbeard is a Logia, just that like Crocodile with water to sand, Blackbeard is getting that all the time. Think about it. His power is darkness. When he's outside in the sun, that negates his Logia power. That's why when he fought Whitebeard, they threw the cloak over him. That's why when the payback war was happening, it was full nighttime. And just because Luffy, Nika, bringing the dawn, god of the sun god, Blackbeard, god of darkness, the complete polar opposite, he's going to try to fight Luffy at night, which will activate his Logia powers. I like that theory. That's not mine. I heard that on TikTok. It was really good. I think I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. The correlation also, if you haven't hit it already, is that he's from a snow island, so he has sleeping, right? So he should be used to, nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
Now
that part wasn't in the theory, and neither was the sun god Nika thing. So that's some Christian Linden stuff right there at fleshing that theory out. They just basically had, because he's darkness, he can't go into the sun like Crocodile, essentially.
And that is interesting though, because I mean, he did take on Ace in the middle of the day.
And it hurt him.
I mean, it hurt him, but I'm like, you're going up against supposedly one of your weaknesses. Like, Ace and Kizaru should be hard counters
for sure.
And you're fighting Ace, who might possibly get some kind of heat boost, because if I remember correctly, I'm not trying to say that, they were fighting anywhere where it was exceptionally hot.
Yeah.
But I mean, it looked like it was like midday on that island.
And see, and the thing was, to that point, Blackbeard was taking a lot of damage. That's why I think it's even more so like, okay, the sun was on him. He like this, that, and the third. But to your point, like, he still whooped Ace ass, and he should have. If the theory is true,
I'm saying like, I like that theory a lot. I think it's very plausible, but just to keep a grain of
I know where you're going. Yeah,
it's like, okay, Blackbeard's not an idiot, so why would he fight Ace in the middle of the day?
It should have been a little more difficult too.
Well, yeah, I mean, it should have been a little bit more difficult unless he knew and he was like pulling off like a Toby/Obito level troll where he's like, oh, I'll fight you and I'll take damage. But since we know that like Blackbeard can take a whole lot of damage, it looks like it hurts a whole lot, and then he just gets up like nothing.
Like nothing happened, yeah.
Like nothing happened. So it's like, I don't know if he's trolling Ace, and so he's trying to let Ace see like, oh yeah, your attacks hurt. And then he's just kind of like, oh no, I was just kidding, like I'm fine.
Yeah.
So is he flexing by fighting Ace in the middle of the day, or
is he like what's going on? That's a good point, and that's a great thing to add to that theory. So we're gonna keep watching, because I still have my Blackbeard theory on how he's going to Totland right now. We'll see what goes down with that.
Oh yeah, it's got to happen.
Yeah, a lot of our theories are coming true. We'll see if we have any about this chapter right now. So chapter 237, the way we do this, give a brief summary, and then me and Christian dive in. Christian picks a spot where he wants to dive in, and we dive in and review the chapter. So the chapter starts off with a cover story, seeing the Germa. We're in it. I love this cover story because I want to know what's going on with the Germa, with Sanji. We saw everything with him, so that's great. We then cut to the Fire Festival where we see a float of Toki, and basically people are like, it's time to wind down. People are drunk. They're lighting their lanterns, and that, which means pretty soon they're going to see Onigashima above them. Now we cut over to Kaido and Luffy. Kaido and Luffy are fighting. We find out that Kaido has drunken style. We'll dive more into that in a little bit. And basically it just shows his different moves of his drunken style as they fight. And they continue to fight, more drunken style, fight. I promise we'll dive into it. This is just a brief. And then we cut over to Marijua. The Gorosei are talking about a fruit that has awakened, essentially, saying how they need to get Nico Robin. And then all of a sudden, some war government ships call them and say, a shadow is there. And they're like, a shadow? And basically, it is Zunisha, and the chapter ends. Christian, where do you want to begin, brother?
All right, so I'm gonna propose a kind of odd, schedule here, because usually I just say let's go in order.
Yeah, and it just start
pace things very.
We starting with the Gorosei.
We're gonna start with the Gorosei and deal with the Zunisha thing, and then
just because the Kaido Luffy shit is so big, it's a lot to discuss. That's perfect. Yeah. Now, with that, real quick, I don't think the Gorosei were talking when they were talking about it's awakened. I do not believe they were talking about Zunisha. I see people saying they're talking about Zunisha. I think that's a Oda misleads you. Like, yeah, Zunisha's in the panel, but nah, they're talking about something else. And I don't even know if they saw that the shadow was Zunisha because it's behind them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
Oda likes to use dramatic irony where we the readers know what something is, even if people in the manga don't necessarily know. And then sometimes people in the manga know things and we don't.
Yeah.
Silhouette that we don't recognize yet. But this is definitely textbook. Once you're past 1,000 chapters, you know this. This is a textbook subversion.
Yep.
I do believe that some of these things could be applied to Zunisha because Dorsey would be the type of people who would know what happened during the Void Century, meaning that they would probably know what happened to Zunisha.
And why Zunisha has to walk for the rest of the punishment. Yep.
Right. So they might, like whatever they're talking about, they probably want Zunisha to stay in the annals of history and, be forgotten and all of that. So you can take some of that text and apply it to Zunisha. But I believe this is a classic subversion.
Mm-hmm.
Shank showing up talking about we need to talk about a specific pirate with the Gorosei, then it cuts away. Now we're here and we're talking about a devil fruit that awakened. And yes, it's reference to Zunisha. Some people might think it's the gum fruit because of Who's Who talking about, well, I got shafted from this Cyber Pole agency.
If I'm a betting man, that's where I'm putting my chips at.
Right. So when I read that, I'm thinking like it's either the gum fruit,
Lost fruit,
Zunisha. Although that's a little too straightforward, I feel like that's a subversion.
And see, that's the thing. I really don't think we know what it is yet. Like, if it's not Luffy's fruit, if it's not Law's fruit, if it's not Kid's fruit, then I don't know if they're talking about a fruit in Wano per se. That's what's interesting to me.
It could be a fruit like Toki's fruit, where maybe Toki's fruit, because it's so broken time-wise, it doesn't respond for hundreds of years.
And now it's respawning.
So something like that could be happening as well, where they're like, yo, a Void Century level, devil fruit is now
here. Now, let me oppose something to you.
Okay.
Shanks, I'm glad you brought up Shanks talking about a certain pirate. We were talking about Blackbeard early. Could one of Blackbeard's fruit have awakened? Could they have gotten an awakened fruit? Is that what they're after right now? Did they get Uranus? Is Uranus a devil fruit? Is that the ancient weapon that they've gotten that hasn't been in a while? They call it Uranus, but that's not the real name.
I saw a theory on Zunisha being Pluton that basically goes like that. So,
I didn't like the Pluton Zunisha one. Not gonna lie.
I mean, I didn't really care for it, but I really only don't care for it because of the Frankie understands Pluton
as a battleship. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I mean, I understand like in One Piece, inanimate objects can somehow consume devil fruits.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw, some theories that said that like Zunisha was originally an island that ate a devil fruit that
turned it into Pluton or whatever.
Pluton itself is a ship that ate a devil fruit or something.
Yep. I saw that, and how they were talking about the parallels to like the first time we see an elephant with Frankfried and Frankfried's eating the thing. People think Zunisha's going to pick up that sword because of the famous Indian painting of the elephant holding the sword. Now, I do see that happening.
Yeah, that could definitely happen, yeah.
But in terms of Zunisha being Pluton, I just don't buy that. Now, for the awakened fruit, I think it might have something to do with Blackbeard. If I'm a betting man, I bet most of my money on the gum fruit. I'm betting like $5 on Law fruit just to have some money on there, and then I'm betting the rest of the money on Blackbeard. Like that's the other.
I mean, to piggyback off of Blackbeard, it could be something else. Like, do we know for certain who the lurking legend is? So
that's another point.
We know that Blackbeard is in a way connected to Zebek. So what if it's like the devil fruit that Zebek had
is awakened?
Allowed Zebek to cause so much trouble. The way that pretty much anyone who has the Quake fruit is probably going to be considered a ridiculous world caliber threat, even if they're not Whitebeard level, just off of the potential of what that devil fruit can do.
You combine that with the Yami Yami no Mi, and it's crazy. And what if the theory of Blackbeard being 3 people is real, and he gets the third fruit, which is the Bex? That's possible with the Awaken. Talk about a certain pirate. I just don't think there's enough information for us to know.
That's exactly
what was talking about.
At this point, it was presented by Oda, knowing that we were going to have a break.
Yep.
In order to get the community to speculate, because we don't have nearly enough evidence, in my opinion, right now
to know what it is. Facts.
That it is definitively this, or it can even be like a majority percentage. This, like right now, it could be a whole lot of different devil fruits.
It could be some random. It could be Sabo's fruit. It could be it really could be anything. And like you said, he pulled the bait and switch to where he wants people to think it's Zunisha, but it's not going to end up being that. Now, I don't really have anything else besides like interesting what Zunisha's going to come do. You think Momo's control? Like, did Momo call?
Momo. This is definitely like
help with Onigashima.
We could get all kind of things where Zunisha's already. What is the allusion to this? It's like the Greek god who carries the world on his back.
Oh, Atlas.
Atlas.
So who has to constantly push the bolt,
doing that. Well, Zoe's, destroyed, right? So what if like Onigashima gets dropped on Zunisha and that becomes the new bird?
The new Zoe. Yeah, true. That's a good point.
You have that possibility.
I could see Zunisha grabbing some water and shooting it at Kazunbo, like the fire monster.
Right. That, that could happen. You have Zunisha wielding that giant sword.
I think that's definitely gonna happen.
We could get.
I don't think Zunisha's fighting Kaido though.
No. Yeah. I mean, after Zunisha pretty much one-shot Jack, it's like I don't even want to power scale Zunisha because that's just filthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ironically, if it could one-shot Kaido, like I wouldn't call that bullshit, but then at the same time, I'd be like, wait, so like Yonko level is like not even a thing.
Or it's Zunisha level.
Like Zunisha is just like Zunisha level. It's like literally a walking Buster Call. Like, does a Buster Call even like? Does that take like a leg of Zunisha? Like, need to. One part of me like wants to be able to power scale Zunisha like that, and but another part of me is like,
it gets
an enigma.
It gets super fishy. I'm with that part of you.
It's like I would love to know, like, is that trunk capable of like
armament hockey? Oh my gosh! Like, look at us! Look at us! Like, stop it!
Like, the sky, but it's like Momo's like, hey, Zunisha, I need you to beat Kaido.
Conquer's coding, bro. Kaido would get destroyed. He might explode.
He's just like, oh. Momo, you're asking me to use like 10% of my power. Fine.
Grabs the sword with the trunk, puts hockey on it. Big lightning. Like, imagine the lightning that would come off that sword, bro. That would destroy fucking Wano. Like, no, sir. Let's not have that happen.
No. So, I mean, I definitely think it's set up for Momo to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Because it could be a whole lot of things.
I do like your point of catching Onigashima and having that as new Zoe. That's a great theory.
I mean, you could have that. You could have Zunisha could just headbutt it. Maybe Momo doesn't have the ability or have the time to figure out how to land it. He's
like having it float, and as it's slowly floating, Zunisha hits it with its trunk. Yeah, that's possible.
It reminds me of, I say this just because I'm not going to be able to really say anything else about Zoro, but if you remember back in Dressrosa, when Zoro beat Pika, they relied on the foreign king to use his king's punch to clear the debris away.
Yep.
So if something happens, then I'm saying like Zunisha could be like that king's punch that comes in and, hurries up and knocks. Well, I'm not saying hurries up because Zunisha's massive, but maybe it can like block some of the
debris.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's something to do with Momo.
No, for sure. I'm with you on that as well.
Maybe I was saying, I was kind of hoping that maybe the Straw Hat Alliance would show up, but it's way too late in Onigashima.
I
for
don't
them
see.
to show up at this
I
point.
feel like they're saving that for the final war. Like when Oda says they'll matter for the
war.
That's the one.
But it's like One Piece has been such a continuum that I kind of felt like we could get like a mini, Straw Hat Fleet. Like I just kind of want to check up
on what they're doing
with it, but without like separating us from Wano or the Straw Hats. So it's like we don't need to meet all of them, but I would love to see like Hydrogen when we go to Elbaf. I would love, in a non-joke manner to see like Barto actually showing us that he's mastered,
his fruit
a little bit more. Sai. I said this before, and I still stand by this off of animation.
Mm-hmm.
Animation only, though. Sai, in my opinion, still has a better animated kick than Sanji.
Oh my God, this guy.
Let me say this off, and I'm only talking this about, again, animation, because
better than the first Diablo John Blade.
And I'm talking about damage, not like what looks cooler. So Sai, he has like that green flame, and then he like kicked the mountain that Pika was on and like shattered the mountain.
Okay,
in case you don't remember that. So it's like, I know Sanji can do that, and I know Sanji can do something even greater than that.
My man gotta throw some Sanji slander.
I don't even mean it as Sanji
I know.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Like, and this happens all the time.
You just have high expectations for Sai based upon what we've seen, essentially.
I do. I'm not comparing him to Sanji.
Yeah, no, not at all. Just as an individual character.
And the manga to have gone out of their way to show that Sai's kicks are so powerful that he, inherited Dongxing Chao's
dragon nail,
headbutt, and then reincorporated into a kick. It's like, what is he doing now? Because I know he
was at Reverie with Leo.
This is me. Well, I know that. I mean, like power scale wise, like, again, I've told you this before. I love to take the Straw Hats and their Grand Fleet, and in my head, throw them back retroactively into Marineford, but like replace Whitebeard. So like Whitebeard's crew is, the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
And all the allies are his, the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. I'm like, okay, where would they get? I'm like, Sai's beating all Vice Admirals. Hydrogen is beating all those giant Vice Admirals. So it's like, I like to kind of place, the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So I would like to see them in action again. So I was kind of hoping for that, but we're in the tail end of this. Zunisha is showing up. The world government is showing up. We're seeing that the Mary Joyce and the
Gorosei
are actually aware and concerned about what's going on with Big Mom and Kaido. The CP0 is talking about, look, this is the time to take Robin. Lucci's in here talking about, I know who Robin is. I know who the Straw are. I know what they're capable of. I know if we take her, that's not even the end of it. These people will come and chase us down. I've already gotten Robin to the gates of justice. And they came and took her.
We got to kill her. Yeah, that's a fact.
Like, we got to move.
Also, to that point, I 100% now don't think the Marines are coming to Wano. I don't think that ship is Marine ships. I think that CPI just zero and just random fodder. And I feel like Sanji or someone's going to fight them to save Robin, and Zunisha's going to destroy the rest. Like, I truly feel like showing Zunisha now caps the threat of, hey, the Marines are coming. Like, I don't see the Marines coming at all now. Like, people were talking about, that's who Luffy and them are going to have to get past. Like, beating Kaido's not enough. They're going to have to get past the Marines. But to me, I understand that the world government represents America opening up Japan, but I don't think it's going to be led by the Marines. I think it's going to be led by Age of Zero in the Gorosei.
Well, I also have mixed feelings on that. I agree and disagree with that. So it's like, if we delineate CP0 from the world government, then yes. I don't believe there's going to be major Marine presence, because I do believe that the majority of the Marines are focused on getting Boa,
in the Shichibukai. Yeah, facts.
We can't, underestimate them. Whitebeard's son, who we haven't seen legitimized yet. apparently literally has lore that says that he's comparable to a young, Newgate. So, we can't sleep on these people. So the world government is stretched thin, which is why I believe the Gorosei is freaking out.
And why they sent Aegis Zero to Wano. Yep. So and the fact that they're talking about killing sneakily, like that's not Marine shit. That's Aegis Zero shit.
The only other thing that I'm saying is that it depends on Drake, because Drake has the sword presence. And again, we know that sword is essentially just select Navy members who are secretly carrying out their duties within the Navy. Like Kobe, who's, currently,
also, I think that's to that point, I think the fact that CP0 knocked out Drake and has Drake unconscious, I think that goes back to the fact that the Marines won't be showing up at least until after Luffy and them are out of there.
Well, yeah. Like I don't think that it's going to be a scenario where they're going to, defeat the Yonkos or whatever, and then they're like running on empty, and then they have to go and fight.
Yep, don't see that.
Not even a scenario like Dressrosa where Luffy beats, Doflamingo, and then even though Fuji is not fighting him with the intention,
they're sending the meteors,
he's still fighting. Like, I don't think it's even going to be something like that. But I do believe that there will be enough presence where the Straw Hats will need to flee, just, in the vein of, okay, we're pirates. There are, Navy people here. We're recovering, etc.
Unless they're strong enough to say, hey, this is our territory. Like, unless this is like Luffy's moment to be like, flag, Wano's mine. That's the only way I could see them beating without fleeing.
I mean, I can see that too. I don't know. The only other contentious point there is you got to remember that Kizaru is just waiting to come
to go. True.
So, and Akainu doesn't give a shit about the Gorosei at all.
Yeah.
So he's nervous about this. He doesn't. He did tell him to wait.
Yeah, he told him not to go because they got, like you said, they got other shit to deal with. Plus, the samurai is strong, and his big mom and Kaido stretched thin. That's a great.
We don't know. We don't know. But if he finds out anything, like the Gorosei, they apparently know some things pretty live. So maybe
they know that Luffy's kicking that ass, and they're shocked. Right.
So if Akainu hears that,
he going.
He might pull up. He's like, wait, you're telling me Straw Hat beat Kaido and Big Mom? Wait, the same guy I almost murdered with ease? Oh, Kizaru, we pulling up, dog.
For sure. All right, let's get to the Kaido fight. Yo. All right, I told you this off air. I'm saying this again. I gotta say this on air. To me, real quick, a joke. How are they allowed to have Toki and Odin floats at the Fire Festival? But they're worried about Orochi spies. just a thought. Like, they had the Odin float that maybe they can say is like I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. What's the little dude who taught Luffy Rio?
Hyogoro?
Yeah, Hyogoro. You remember how Hyogoro thought Luffy looked like one of those Buddha things? Yeah. Maybe they can think that the Odin one looks like that, but this is 100% Toki. And if they're scared of Orochi's men, how are they just letting this float with the Kozuki flow down in the Fire Fest?
Well, that is a good point. I think there's between having a float of Toki and then like directly like challenging Orochi. Like, this guy was like, you hear that? Like, I'm talking shit on you. And they're like, look, they'll probably let us get away with having a float of a dead woman.
But they're not letting you talk shit. Fair enough. Like, all right.
That's just an assumption.
Yeah, I just had to ask because that was just weird to me. But the thing that I love, I told you this. I said, as long as Kaido gets great backstory like Doflamingo and gets great motivation for why he's doing what he's doing, to me, chapters like this push him over the edge to maybe being the best One Piece villain so far. The fact that Kaido has a drunken fist style, I didn't see that coming at all, Christian. If you asked me, like, hey, predict how Kaido would fight, that would have been the last thing I guessed. even though he is an alcoholic and we saw it a bunch, but still would have been the last thing, I guess. This adds so much flavor to Kaido to me, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So we were talking about this off air, and my impression of Kaido, because I knew that he was drunk all the time, especially with his introduction, where he's like a headache and
he's crying,
hangover, and all this. I thought that Kaido's drunkenness would play in similar to like Kenpachi from Bleach. So we know that Kenpachi, wears the eye patch, which eats up some of his spiritual pressure. He wears the bells in his hair so that his opponents can hear him in case he's too fast for them, etc. So these are all nerfs. So I thought, like, oh, I'm just so powerful. Like, I just need to get drunk. That way people can take advantage of me. I'm slower. I'm inebriated. I can't tell.
Like Big Mom's hunger pains.
Right. So I thought that Kaido was like intentionally nerfing himself, not that he was about to use this, because we've seen this across mediums. Whether you've seen it with Jackie Chan in his movies, Rock Lee from Naruto.
Yep.
It's
Chu in Yu Yu Hakusho. That made me think of Chu. Chu. This is just like Chu in a sense, and this could be him paying homage to Togashi, because let's not forget Chu is an ogre specifically, and as he drinks, he gets legitimately stronger, like Kaido did. Yep. That's the first person I thought of was Chu. Before Rock Lee, like Rock Lee was second. Chu was like, wow, man, this really reminds me of Chu just because of the ogre and the type of drink he's drinking.
So the funny thing that I saw a lot of people talking about, and this is the one thing that I also love about One Piece, is that it knows how to kind of take certain things lightly. So Kaido pulls this giant barrel of sake out of
thin air.
So it's like, this is like Toon Force levels of like comedy here. Like Kaido like literally pulled like a Looney Tune thing, like Bugs Bunny pull infinite things from like out of thin air.
Yeah.
So Kaido just like
behind his back, like
oh, I'm just having
I got some sake. I got some sake behind my my cloak.
Like no one cut that open. It hasn't been smashed.
Zoro didn't smell it.
Zoro didn't smell this. Kid like smashed Kaido on the ground.
Straight.
Luffy's been, just punching him all around. Zoro's cut him up. And this thing is just intact and just in great shape. I gotta love it.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I love the fact that in addition to that, again, we have a sort of self-aware moment where before it was revealed that this was a drunken master style or a derivative of that, you have Luffy talking about, don't use this as an excuse for when I beat you.
Loved it.
So Oda saying, look, this is not a hunger pains thing.
Yeah, this is not a nerf.
This is not a nerf at all. So that was great. I love the self-aware moment where it's almost like Kaido used his observation to say, the Fire Festival's getting to the peak as well. The guys down there, they're drunk. Let's get drunk up here too.
And I love that he offered Luffy, yes.
He's like, you want some too? Like, Kaido's dead ass. Not an exchanging of sake cups, but if Luffy was like, yo,
that's some Shanks Whitebeard shit.
No, for real. Like, yo, Ashley, yeah, I am kind of parched. Kaido would have been like, all right,
here you go,
bro.
Yeah, facts.
Here's a big ass thing. Like,
and he says it. He's like, this is a sign that I've accepted you. I wonder how long it's been since I fought someone who could truly go toe to toe with me. That is awesome. That's like, okay, for all you people who were like, is Luffy Yonko level? Is it happening too fast? Self-awareness of Oda, Kaido is accepting him.
There's also that panel along with some other things. So Big Mom has now said some things, and now Kaido has said some things. I think that this almost definitively proves Shanks probably brought Kaido alcohol. He did not stop Kaido in a sense before showing up to Onigashima, because for Kaido to say, I don't remember the last time, he would remember clashing with in that regard.
Especially since Shanks was one of the people he had in that backdrop.
So he's clashed with Shanks to know
just
that.
Not Marine Ford.
It wasn't like Shanks went there and beat him down and said, nah, stay in your place. Like a lot of people giving him credit for. it was Shanks most likely brought him some very delicious sake.
And they had a conversation. Yeah.
Had a conversation. They probably had a fight similar to something like
what Whitebeard and Shanks did.
What Whitebeard and Shanks and what Kaido and Big Mom did. You know, if you remember where Kaido was kind of like, you know, do you still have, you know, what you used to, old hag? And she's like, yeah, don't talk to me like that. Like,
and then they clashed.
My step.
Yeah.
So it's more like checking him. So he's like, are you still like a top tier advanced conqueror? And Shanks is probably like, you know, why don't you find out? They clashed. Kaido was like, excellent. I love this.
I agree.
So,
I agree 100%.
To your point, that means that Luffy has now reached a point where theoretically, let's say that Kaido doesn't die, Luffy could then show up, you know, and probably calm Kaido down by bringing him some sake and throwing a punch, clashing with him, and him being like, "Oh hell yeah, okay, cool.
We're boys now, man." Like he accepted him. That is crazy to me, and like that just shows how far he's grown from the brat that Kaido one-shotted with the Thunder Bagua in Gear 4, his strongest thing, to now, oh, I accept you. We're like, it's on and popping now.
Right.
So, and then I love the next panel, like the next page, bro, where Kaido looks damn near, and this is why I said, like, Chew, how he gets advanced from being drunk. Kaido has a fat nose and, like, is literally 3 times more muscular. His Kanobo's now too small for his body. His hybrid never looked like that before. Dude's a fucking what's the word? Not a unit, but he's a unit. Dude's a unit. Like he's a fucking monster.
See, the lightning hammered moment where he uses the
Ragnaroku.
Right. So you were talking about that. I didn't even catch that detail. Kaido's nose does change in this form. It looks more like Jinbei's nose.
Yep.
It does his own.
And we've seen his nose in other hybrid forms, and it's never looked like that. Even later in this chapter.
Right. And then that specific panel where he says lightning hammered, you're right. His upper body looks a lot
huge
than usual. Now, I lied. I said that I wasn't going to be able to bring up Zoro. This does remind me of Zoro's Nichiji.
Oh, where he gets the muscles
technique. So I wonder if Kaido and other beings naturally have the ability, like Zoro, to like pump themselves
their muscles.
Up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like Luffy has Gear Second, which I'm going to cover in this chapter.
Or is this his awakening? Like, is this his zone? Is this a form of his chopper rumble ball, the drunkenness? Like, I don't think it's that, but I just devil's advocate.
I don't think it's a devil fruit awakening, but similar to how Chopper kind of created an awakening.
You think this is Kaido's version of it?
That like Kaido's drunkenness could be a new level that amps him. So it's more like a temporary Kaioken type thing.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, that it is like an awakening.
Fair.
Especially when, like, the anime is going to flesh this out, but it seems like Kaido quickly moves through his stages.
Yeah, he does.
Now, again, that could be the pacing of the chapter, where it's more like each of these stages lasts 5 to 10 minutes, but the chapter has it where it's almost like each panel or page is a different, you know, stage, and that's what we're going to get to in a second. So I think the anime is going to cover this, but I feel like Kaido probably carries multiple things of sake just in case he runs into somebody, so he can,
like Frankie with cola.
Right.
But man, Luffy got
that's a really good point. That's a really good point, because I was going to bring up a point later, but that's making multiple allusions to the Straw Hat crew, which is a point I'm going to make about Luffy later. But Kaido is bulking himself up like Zoro. He carries around sake to fuel his most powerful form, like Frankie's Cola.
And this is basically like cola and / rumble ball, essentially.
That's very nice. That's a very nice observation. Yeah.
And smashes Luffy, kind of starts to break now the ceiling's getting broken. After all of this, now it's finally getting broken. That's crazy.
I mean, he does say on this same page, you know, it took 5 years to take place to make this happen.
My man is sad.
It's very possible that we just assumed that this was like a skull dome, but this could have been like reinforced with with a whole bunch of stuff because Kaido's talking like he's legit sad that he's about to lose this resource of a castle. Whereas if Onigashima was just a basic castle, Kaido would just terrorize some other place and take over their stronghold.
We still don't know why he's in Wano, but that goes back to motivation on that's going to make us understand how good of a villain Kaido is. But then after that, we see like Luffy's like, that hurt. And like you said, Kaido's like, this took 5 years. Only thing of the chapter I didn't like, Kaido going back in that damn dragon form. Gosh, every time he goes back in that damn dragon form, just L's.
I mean, to your point that you made earlier, it is ridiculous to think about the fact that Gear 4 Luffy can get destroyed by a base
Thunderboggle.
Thunderboggle.
Yeah, not a Ragnar, not a Conqueror. No, this is
and
straight.
Now here's base Luffy talking about, that hurt from getting a drunken style
Conqueror's coded
Ragnarok with advanced conquerors, and this dude's talking about, that hurt. Like, how do you that's a couple of days.
Yeah. No, a couple weeks. We're gonna say like 3 weeks. But still.
Okay, yeah. I'm putting it in days because it's like it hasn't even been a month. So yeah, it has been like maybe 2 weeks.
2.5.
Like
that's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Like I don't even know if like Goku and Vegeta had that much of a boost.
Well, no, Tournament of Power.
Oh, true.
Goku went from Super
blue to
Ultra
Instinct. Yeah, in a day. You're right.
In 40 minutes. That's not even a day. That's 40. Tournament of Power, like when you
not even an hour.
It makes no Goku nor Vegeta have never transformed that many times in 40 minutes.
I'm talking. You're right. Classic Z. I don't know. This is some classic Z type shit.
That's like Broly if Broly doesn't have a physical limit where his power keeps growing. That's the only classic Z character who could keep up with this growth rate. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like Luffy did his thing. So then we see Kaido dragon form fighting Luffy. Luffy basically like jumps on the dragon, or does he tank that dragon twister?
He tanks the dragon twister. So this is the other point I'm going to make about referencing the other Straw Hats. So the first one that I remember is this one. So this is a reference. I definitely lied. Another reference to Zoro. So if you remember the first time Kaido uses this, Kid allows the wind size to cut up his
arm,
something because it's like magnetism, whatever. Law shambles out of the way. Luffy dodges.
Mm-hmm.
Zoro deflects. In this case, here's Luffy deflecting. Now, this is very, very important, in my opinion, for 2 reasons. One, this is the first allusion, in my opinion, of Luffy referencing one of the other Straw Hats in this battle poetically. But 2, Luffy specifically has a weakness to sharp objects. Which means that Zoro blocking the wind scythe and Luffy dodging it is not me trying to be like toxic and be like, Zoro is more powerful than Luffy.
No, that's just their styles.
Literally, it's the styles, but it's also that's a weakness of Luffy. Luffy came into the new world and he was still capable of being hurt by Hody Jones biting him, whereas almost anything else that Hody Jones used was irrelevant to Luffy because he has a weakness to sharp.
His double fruit.
So the fact that he blocked this attack in base, which caused all the other captains, minus, effectively Zoro, in my opinion, major issues, is a major thing for Luffy. So Luffy straight up takes it, does not even try and dodge this, and straight up just tosses it to the side. Which is excellent. I love this depiction of Kaido, where it's like his top teeth are still menacing, but it's like he has like no teeth on his bottom. It was like a freaking baby,
just crying, bro. But I like his drunk,
you idiot.
I like his drunk dirt face at the top in the dragon, like the freaking dirt face. It's like
I like that one.
I'm Kaido.
I like that one.
Like this dude's a clown, bro. But the bottom, you're right, with no teeth, like dude's looking like a fool.
Kaido saying Baka.
Come
on. Come on, man.
That's funny. Oh man. Yeah, just leave me alone, Baka. And then he just straight up like, all right, bet Thunder Bagua, and then straight up fucking goes to speed blitz. Luffy jumps over on top of the Kanabo and then hits him with a Sanji kick.
So here's my next question for you. So my question is, do you believe that this breakdown of Thunder Bagua is analogous to like Goku charging up a command wave where he slowly says Kamehameha? Or do you believe that this is articulation to show that they're moving so fast that by the time that he gets to these syllables in Thunder and like
he's there
breaking it down?
That's what I think it is.
Sequences are happening in this, time frame.
That's what I think it is, because I don't think we've ever seen Kaido charge up a Thunder Bagua. We have seen Yamato do it though. That's where I'm like, I don't know. I like to believe it's the second one you said, because this is Kaido's speed attack. So I feel like he was rushing him, and like you said, by the time the phrases got out, I think he was there.
Yeah. So I'm kind of getting the same sense. And what's most important here, in my opinion, is I believe that this is Luffy using Future Sight.
Yeah, facts.
When he says this is throwing me off, I think he's referring to Kaido being drunk. So the other thing that's great about this,
he's like, all right, let me focus in.
Is that I believe that Kaido does this intentionally to throw off observation hockey. Similar to when Luffy used Gama Gama no Boa and turned his brain off. And Enel was no longer able to predict.
Or when he was in Snake Man doing the super Culverine Gatlings, where it was like a bunch of fists going off, and freaking Katakuri was like, ooh, which one is it? And he couldn't realize in time until
I think that's a little bit different. I think the concept is similar, but it's different in the sense that I think that Kaido in his drunk state, his brain doesn't.
Oh, it's off. Yeah, fair.
He's killing his own brain cells. So it's similar to Luffy's Boa technique where he turns his brain off.
Yeah.
It's like you can't read his moods. And so with his moods shifting, his brain activity in flux and brain cells dying, Luffy cannot actually read the future.
Yeah, fair.
So it's Kaido, like Queen said, okay, I have this constriction technique for armament hockey masters.
This is like an observation hockey technique.
Drunk to mute observation hockey masters. I know you have future sight, so I'm going to weaken that. Now,
it makes sense why he's a great one-on-one fighter, why you can't beat Kaido one-on-one. You have to be damn near to see. Yeah, you got to be damn near to see the future. That's a good point.
And to your point about what Luffy did to Katakuri is, I think, analogous to what Doflamingo does to Law, where the secret to beating Law is to force him to exert himself on defense. So, like, throw so many punches that Law has to constantly use shambles
to get out of there,
or out of the way until he exhausts himself.
Yeah.
So Katakuri was saying, look, observation hockey has, what do you call it?
Limits.
A limit, by forcing me to predict thousands of punches that are moving at this speed, I'm exerting my observation hockey. I can't keep up with it. So in this case, if we agree that this is based on speed, so the phrases are coming out at the speed, I think that this is Luffy saying, okay, it's throwing me off. I just need to calm myself down.
Yeah, focus in.
Luffy doesn't seem angry. He seems like he's saying, okay, just breathe.
That's exactly, and like his face gets serious. It's like, all right, let me just, but then the moment he realizes the future, it's like it's back to she. Yeah.
I mean, that though is the epitome of I'm relaxed.
Yeah.
Like, I calmed down, I focused. So then I was able to see through that haze of your drunkenness, see what your move was. Now I'm like, okay, I get it. I see where you're coming. I have the speed to counter it, because that's also what he does. He puts his foot on the
Kanabo,
and then delivers that kick. Now, this is the second time he emulates.
He's running on the Kanabo too. That's crazy.
Right. This kick is the exact same pose Sanji does.
Yeah, it is.
So this was a beautiful reference, in my opinion, to
and it's a Conqueror's kick too, because his lightning's going off as well.
Right. So that, in my opinion, was again beautiful. Because as soon as I saw it, I was like, that was a Sanji kick.
And then it's right after back to Ulti and Usopp, or Ulti and Nami, or even Luffy and Ulti.
Yep.
Like, this dude was headbutting Ulti. Like, back to his progression, he was losing headbutts with Ulti, and now he's Conqueror's headbutting Kaido.
And I also love the way that this panel right here retroactively makes Ulti's reaction to headbutting Luffy all the more poignant. Because when she headbutts Luffy, like, yeah, Luffy loses, but not because like he couldn't tank it. It's just like headbutting isn't his forte the way that it is Ulti's. But as soon as Ulti headbutts her, I remember this vividly. The Kaido subordinate fodder are all celebrating.
Yeah.
Ulti immediately transforms again, and so does Page One. And they're like, "What are y'all doing?" And they're like, "This guy is not normal."
Yeah, he's not out.
He's not even close to out.
Yeah.
What we saw was like when Luffy was like, when the smoke cleared, like I think they showed like black and red lightning to a degree.
A little bit.
So like Ulti was actually a little bit fearful. She was like, "Oh shit, that didn't feel like a normal headbutt." So imagining Ulti trying to headbutt 1037 Luffy.
Dead. Brain splatter.
Like, this is like, Luffy doesn't even headbutt her back. He just stands there like Virgo and allows her to break her own skull on his.
Yeah,
facts. This is ridiculous. Like, the artwork as an artist,
it's beautiful.
Like, Oda like actually drew a clash and then like erased space in between. It looks like Luffy's head is not even like fully drawn because there's a perfect barrier of white space
and just their faces of like making the same face, like Kaido's in pain. It's like all their shit smashing. It looks great.
It's like they're trying to headbutt like a bulletproof window and they can't break it, so their face is smashing against this barrier. I mean,
have you ever put your head like on a window and you know how it's like it smushes it? Like that's exactly what that is.
Have you seen the infamous scene from Baki where Yuji Hanma is trying to flex, so he walks through bulletproof glass without even like trying to break it. He just walks.
Baki. But this was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you get to the next page where it's like this real lightning.
Black lightning.
Yeah.
Like,
great.
This is one of those scenes where it's like drawing the background. I love the fact that Oda doesn't do that for certain scenes where he lets it have a white background so that you can
lets it breathe.
He lets it breathe, but it's like this would take away. But you know the sky is split. Like, is it still split from earlier, or are these people like making like intersections like each time
I think each time it's like splitting again. Like, it's crazy. Like these dudes
drawings in the freaking sky right now, just cutting it up. But yeah.
And then I love Luffy saying his hockey's getting stronger. So that to me is like, okay, Gear 4, Gear 5 incoming. Like,
well, okay, so we're getting there. And this is also very interesting because this also means that there's levels to Kaido's drunken style. Because remember, Rayleigh says you can't strengthen your conqueror's hockey. You can only strengthen your spirit, which in turn would strengthen your conqueror's hockey. But you're telling me that by Kaido getting drunk, he's somehow strengthening his spirit, which strengthens his conqueror's hockey, which also strengthens his armament hockey and his observation hockey. So it's like getting drunk for Kaido, you would think would obscure his observation hockey.
And that's why I said it's like a rumble. That's why I said it's like a rumble ball almost, because like the fact that it's strengthening like his willpower is crazy. Like,
it means that it technically is strengthening his observation hockey, even though he could be numbing it. So that's ridiculous. But we still see, okay, so Kaido gets the better of Luffy in this advance.
In the headbutt.
I think they both take damage though.
They do, but Luffy falls. Like, Kaido's just like
Luffy falls, but Kaido says like, "Oh, you sobered me up." So it's like, he did take some damage from that. Again, I don't know why Kaido keeps using Boro Breath. That has been irrelevant since.
See, I don't even think that was a Boro Breath. I think that's just a a beam. Like that's like he just calls it drunken rage.
Well, that's just the title card.
Oh, okay, got you.
But
yeah, that has to be a ball, bro. If you're right, but Luffy dodges that shit.
Yeah.
Because remember, all ball breaths were solid. That's why I'm saying this is a straight beam.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is like you remember in Dragon Ball Z when I forget which character opens their mouth and shoots out a beam, but like
a bunch of them do that. Raccoon.
That's who I was thinking of. Raccoon.
Yeah. But yeah, so we get another scene where obviously, again, we know they're both using observation hockey. Luffy dodges this and he starts to use his gum rock Gatling.
Beautiful.
And Kaido already anticipates this and uses Kundali Dragon Swarm, which is both, I guess, their techniques of like
multiple swings, like just
multi-hit combos. So, that was great. That clash is great because, again, it draws back parallels to the fact that at the beginning of this whole encounter, Kaido didn't even like feel the need to pick up his club. He just sat and allowed Luffy to use a Gatling on him in base.
And took real damage.
I have to actually deflect these blows because if I don't,
I'm getting fucked.
They're both like every other great Luffy fight. They're both just taking blows, getting back up. I mean, it is just ridiculous. But
then Luffy dodges one of them, the one where Kaido's like, all right, raw, I'm hitting you with a big one, dodges that shit and hits him with like the ultimate kick, man, and straight whites out Kaido's eyes.
This is also like this page breakdown to me was excellent for a lot of reasons. One, the look on Kaido's face in the upper left looks like he is very pleased. Like he saw this, like again, observation hockey. He realized, oh, Luffy dodged my blow.
I'm about to hit him.
And I'm about to get hit. And this blow is about to hurt. And it looks like he's smiling, like, yes, this is what I want. Then he gets hit and he's like, oh no, wait a minute. He is, like his mouth is actually like puffed up, which means that Luffy's knocked up so much blood that he's trying not to like literally just spit out.
But see, wait, I don't think he was happy that he was about to get hit. I see. Wait, look at the panel where Luffy throws his foot back. Doesn't it look like he's gearing up to hit him? I think he's thinking like, oh, I'm about to knock him the fuck out. Like he's like, oh shit, and then it's like, oh wait, no, I'm about to get attacked.
I mean, my headcanon says if you go to the previous page,
let me see.
The fact that Luffy was trying to attack in that bottom left.
Okay, you're right.
In the midst of charging up that like I guess throwing his left.
Yeah, it looks like he's just pushing his hand. Yeah, he's doing the Rayleigh.
He's literally, he's doing the Rayleigh. He's blocking the club swing. So I think that when you follow that in order, I think.
You're right.
Like he's like, you didn't stop your attack.
It's not a charge. He pushed it away. Okay, you're right.
Using advanced conqueror specifically on that leg and specifically on your opposite arm.
Now you're not using it clumsily. Yeah,
exactly. He says
no, you're right. You're right.
Using it is very, very skillful. And then he gets hit, and I think that actually was like, wait a minute, I was not expecting this.
Yeah, and I think that might have did more damage than the Odin Scar. I think this might have been the most damage Kaido's taken.
Like this is the chapter. I think I may have said this last chapter review, but this is significantly, without a doubt, the chapter where I can say this is the most damage that happened. I would say pre-1030s. I don't care what you want to say about Luffy fighting Kaido beforehand. Nothing beat the scar that Zoro put on him thus far. This chapter, multiple blows here, I think, surpass the Ashura Deadman scar because we're talking about major blood.
Yeah.
About major reaction.
Internal damage.
Major internal damage. And this is, I mean, Luffy's used like gear third. But I always kind of attribute gear third as like, okay, I'm going to increase my mass more so than like a transformation of like more power. It's more like an implementation of my devil fruit. Like I'm going to use my devil fruit to get bigger. I've always thought of gear second as I'm amping myself to become stronger. So the fact that Luffy has not used Gear 4 outside of certain moments, like when he came back
early,
used the combo attack with Yamato.
It's gonna be crazy when he does it. Like Oda's saving it for a reason, and I feel like.
But this is a Gear second kick, and look at that kick.
Yeah,
that kick, like that's probably one of my favorite drawn Gear second kicks in the entirety of the series because
it's beautiful.
Way it's drawn, the way that Kaido is drawn,
spitting shit up. Yeah,
I mean,
like I like the wind around Luffy's foot, like as he's like all that shit. Yeah, it looks great.
All of it.
It really does.
I mean, we know this is a Gear second Advanced Conquerors Rio enhanced. Is there a name to this? Yes, this is a wait, no.
No, there's no name. It's just a kick.
This is no name Gear second kick.
Well, wow. It's really a no-name Gear third kick, but using Gear second speed. Because you still gotta remember that the big giant foot is in the back. Oh,
you're right.
Like he's using both Gear second and Gear third right now. Gear second for the speed, Gear third for the giant foot power.
That's interesting because if you remember multiple chapter reviews ago, I speculated that Gear 4 was just Gear second and Gear third together.
Together, yeah.
Which means
he might have mastered Gear 4 as like using it in base like this, which means I think when we see it, Gear 5th, baby, or the delineation that you want, Gear 4.
I still think it's going to be a delineation, but I think that
it's something new. It's going to be because like this is 100% what you talked about of him in base going between Gear second and Gear third because Gear 4th is him using it together. He's now able to.
Well, no. I agree, but because we saw Queen, Big Mom, and everyone else had the flame pattern with their hockey. I think that Luffy may not use Gear 4 the way that we're used to him using it. I think that he's going to isolate certain parts of himself to use with the flame pattern. Okay. So I believe that since we don't see, like, for instance, in this kick, we don't see the flame pattern on his leg. I think that that's another tier of armament hockey, like what Katakuri was talking about, where there's levels to everything. So I think that eventually, to both of our points, Luffy will be in base and he'll be able to use like a King Kong gun, which is still a Gear 4 attack, but it's stronger than using like Gear
4, yeah,
sped up at Gear 2nd. Now, where does Red Rock, which is a Gear 3rd attack, correlate to King Kong gun? I don't know.
I think Red Rock's strong, like especially now since he's using all of rock attacks. Like I feel like these like the Conquerors things are the new baseline.
We only ever saw Red Rock pre-Advanced Conquerors.
Yeah.
So I don't even know.
No, we saw it at the beginning of like the Advanced Conquerors. Remember? Because I don't think he touched him in.
Did he use Red Rock other than when he hit Kaido after seeing Kinemon on the ground?
Let me go see
other rock attacks, but has he used Red Rock?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm going to see right now.
Fire. I don't think he's used Red Rock again.
No, I don't think he's used Red Rock since that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wait. So he did touch him. Okay. So that wasn't a Conqueror's hockey with the Red Rock. Okay. Interesting.
No. Yeah. Red Rock. He put his hands on him because
on his fist. Yeah. See. Okay. So then why is he calling these new attacks rock? That's interesting because I thought the rock attacks were supposed to be the Conqueror's hockey attacks.
Well, I think rock has to do with Rio.
So it's So it's sending the inside. Gotcha.
That it's also it's that because you remember Big Mom was like, "Why are you on the ground, Kaido? Why did that even hurt?"
Yeah,
and we saw Kaido was leaking from that punch. So
you're right.
Rock has something to do with internal.
Yeah,
I think Ryu itself also has something to do with efficient hockey usage, which is why we haven't seen Luffy really tire out from Gear 4 too much.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm thinking like I don't know where Rock plays because I feel like he should have another delineation of Gear King Kong gun. Then, like, what would he call a King Kong gun that does internal damage?
Yeah, and Conqueror's hockey.
And Conquerors.
That's why I'm like, man, whatever this new gear is coming.
It's not to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's coming. Because Oda
This
said
is the
in
most
the
Global Gear second kick I've ever seen.
yeah, no, it is. Because Oda said in the SBS that like to take down a Yonko, he has to go to a new gear. So like he said that in SBS. So it's coming. The fact that we've never seen Snake Man or freaking Bound Man since Roof Piece says a lot to me.
Yeah, I mean, I was reflecting on this when I read the chapter. This also makes Rayleigh's reaction to Gear 4 perfect because when we saw it, Rayleigh was like, well, you've obviously learned the basics of armament, observation, and Conqueror's hockey because you wouldn't have this Gear 4 form.
But it's too draining.
But he wasn't impressed with Gear 4 at all.
Kaido said it was clumsy.
And then, if you remember, he actually like flicked Gear 4 Luffy.
Yep,
and defeated him. And then we saw that he stopped Marco with a finger. So it's like Luffy hasn't been using Gear 4 like that, which I think is exactly how Rayleigh would see it. He's like, this is good for amping your power, but it's not really a form that you should stay in.
Yeah.
And so
I think he's learned that now. Like that's great.
Learned that.
Yep.
And I think that our theory about Luffy being able to tap into things like the Gear 4 from base, like he did with Yamato, where he came out and he just went from base, used, I think it was Python or Calvarin.
Yeah, something like that.
Went back into base. The same way Kaido switches through his
drunken mode. Yeah, true. Good point. Good point. And to your point about Kaido being impressed, Kaido was definitely impressed with this. Now I'm looking back at this like this is 100% him like, oh shit, he's not clumsy anymore.
Yeah.
Great chapter for Luffy development. Great chapter for Kaido and him fighting. Like that was an amazing. This might have been the best fight of Wano so far. It's up there. I'm putting it up there.
I would say for power scaling, yes, it's one of the best. For seeing payoffs, yes, it's one of the best. But we're not getting lore yet. So
fair. That's fair.
Queen talking about Judge gives the fight. Okay, well, we got action and we've got lore.
For that point, Queen and Sanji and King and Zoro are still over. Fair enough.
Judging this from like a Dragon Ball standpoint, then yeah, we've got the best action sequences.
That's kind of what I meant. The choreography, this was great. Like multiple panels of just beautifulness, from the headbutt to the Sanji kick to the freaking Gear second kick that we love so much. Like this was just beautiful shit from Luffy. But to your point about everything that makes a fight special, we're not there yet. Yeah, we're not there yet. Fair enough. Right. All right, word. Well, yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Like the next chapter, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like now we're at the point to where like we used to do theories at the end about what's coming next chapter. I don't know if we continue the Kaido fight. I don't know if we go to Momo and Zunisha. I don't know if we're gonna see Fuku, Rokuju, and Raizo.
We know this. Based off of Oda's classic tropes, we're not gonna see Zunisha ready for whatever that.
And when is Act 3 ending? Like when?
We're not right. So we're not gonna see Zunisha until Act 4. So don't even worry about Zunisha because it was in this last chapter. We will not see her for a while. Okay, so scratch that. All right. Do we continue with the Kaido fight? I said this earlier.
Yeah, you said this off air. Say this point because this is important.
So Luffy versus Kaido is showing progression, but this is one of the few times where I really feel like One Piece pacing is set up a certain way because Kaido versus Luffy is supposed to be timed with certain other events. So until certain other events get to their climax and
they have to be over the fire festival.
Right. Yeah. They have to be over the fire festival. Momo has to have done everything he can.
And that's why we haven't seen Gear 4 yet, because remember, Hyogoro was like, Bound Man looks like this. Right. So if they over the fire festival, he'll look like a god, the dragon god versus Luffy's Rio god or whatever. Like Sun God Nika, Joy Boy, all that shit. The Dawn, like that has to happen. So we're not seeing Kaido v Luffy next again. We might actually see Fuku, Rokuju, and Raizo.
Well, no, I'm trying to think of the other point. That's my next point. So if we see Luffy versus Kaido, know that nothing of substance is really
happening. Yeah, fair.
They're both gonna probably hit each other and be like, "Oh man, that's a really strong blow you just hit me with. Wow, it was impressive."
Unless he's knocking Luffy out, like hitting him with a hard hit to where we in Act 3, 4, when they get over, he gets up in the new delineation of the gear. That's the only way I see that happening.
I don't want to see Luffy get knocked out again.
Not knocked out, but like just hit down where he has to get up. Not knocked out to where his eyes go white. Just damaged.
I have never seen Luffy get knocked out so many times. Okay, so
I'm with you. I don't want him to be knocked out anymore.
I'm at my quota for that. So, you know, if it goes to Fuku
Rokuju.
Fuku Rokuju and Raizo.
Fucking Raizo.
I'm gonna be pissed. That's one fight. Because it's like you're not gonna give us.
There's nothing left though. Like I don't know what fights are left unless you're going to. Honestly, unless you're doing Yamato and Kazunbo.
Yes. Go ahead and give me that.
Fair.
I will take Chopper randomly healing people over Raizo and Fuko just standing there.
True. Also, we gotta see what's up with CP0 Robin.
Robin and yeah, but I strongly feel like that is a resolving Sanji thing.
Yeah,
that's got resolved. For a lot of people, like I'm fine with Wano and the Robin moment and Sanji being a full circle moment from Eni's lobby, but I'm also fine with that opening up a thread where now Sanji needs to go save Robin so that then closes
pays her back. Yeah.
So it's like I'm fully on board with Sanji recovers and saves Robin after maybe Brooke takes out like one of them. I don't see Brooke taking out both.
Both, no, yeah.
But maybe takes out one of them. And then
his observation hockey wakes him up. Gotta go. He hears Robin scream. Yeah. And I don't even know if that's a now thing. That might be a Act 4 thing, like as we're finishing. Right. So you're right. It next chapter is Yamato Kazunbo. Has to be. If not, it's Fuku Rokuju and Raizo or Orochi in whatever the fuck's going on with Hiyori.
Look,
those are the three options. Like
the Raizo fight, it either needs to get sprinkled in.
It needs to end.
Or it needs to end, but if it's going to end in like the next, it doesn't need to end in the next chapter because we just got. So I'm gonna feel like we just got 2 weeks of break. That you got to give me something nice and then give me a letdown chapter.
Fair.
Like, we'll finish this Raizo bullshit.
But see, he could be thinking that this was the nice chapter. Now it's time for the bullshit chapter.
Yeah, but we had a break, so it's like the nice chapter is diluted by the break. So
fair.
I'm not coming back from a break to a low point. All right. So Hiyori, I don't know what Hiyori's waiting on.
I don't know what's going on over there
at all. Like, I don't even know at this point what was the point of Enma reacting to the shamisen.
Was that Hiyori? Like that? So many like.
Zoro heard the shamisen.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Why did Enma know that?
Who else? Black Maria's knocked out ass.
Yeah, no. And I don't think it's Toki either. So, yeah, no, you're right.
Toki. So that was like...
Now, wait. Random theory. Maybe Enma heard Toki why Enma reacted. And maybe why the Gorosei said, the fruit is awakened. Tying it back to the beginning. I would hate that to happen. But that's just me playing devil's advocate.
Fuck no. Toki is done, man. She's done.
I just had to bring up some theories because I don't know what the fuck's happening. This is just me.
I don't know either.
Just throwing darts.
It doesn't. Like Hiyori is an enigma to me. Like,
where's Denjiro?
Where's Denjiro? What is he doing? If we can show Ashura and Kiku talking, where's Ashura? Like. What's Kawamatsu doing? I know he's not just standing there talking to Hirogoro still.
And what's like Izo just took off his shirt? Like, what's Izo doing in this situation?
We know Izo's still like doing shit. Like last time we saw Kawamatsu, he was with Zoro fight King, and he and Hirogoro on some.
We're just talking.
Hey, let's talk.
Let's drink.
like they were literally like, we're ESPN commentators for Wano Samurai.
Facts.
Like, exactly what they were.
They're
You
like,
can
oh, we
tell
took out
it.
the fodder. Like, let's just my
Like,
hands
they
are clear.
set up a booth and was like, oh, in this corner we have the lineage of Ryuma. Isn't it funny? Look at these stats he put up in halftime. Like, this is the second coming of O. Like, come on, man. Come
no,
on,
you're
man.
right. What are they doing? Fair.
What y'all doing?
No, that's a good point. So yeah, we need to figure out what's going on with all of that. But that's pretty much it. Christian, tell the people where they can follow you at on social media.
Ology94 on Twitter, Arc Season on all of the platforms. I finally replaced my Apple Pencil.
Let's go.
Design Season LLC on all platforms, man.
Hell yeah. Y'all go get some art from my man Christian. Great art. Y'all go check out all of his stuff. You can follow me at LimBWT on Twitter. Follow Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think. Look, there's a lot of content out now. A new Run It Back. We reviewed the classic noir film, the classic David Fincher film. To get us ready for the Batman, we reviewed Seven with Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt. Check that out. Also, new Bros Who Binge out, where we're talking Peacemaker, the first 3 episodes, and we're talking the future of DC. Check that out. Also, an interview with Josh Simmons, a conversation that's with BR rapper Josh Simmons. You can check that out. And then Anime Talk will finally be back next Tuesday because me and Crystal wanted to finish watching Ranking of Kings. And so, because people are saying that's a great anime, so we want to review that on the show. So that'll be out next Tuesday. But you can find all of that just by subscribing to either the YouTube or wherever you get your podcast at. But me and Christian will be back next week because the chapters will be back. So be on the lookout for that. But until then, have a good one and peace.
Peace.